Rapidement, voilà.
En gros, on a fait une vidéo avec les hommes, on a essayé de les piéger comme avec...
comme
ça, voilà. Tu l'as vu?
Non, en fait, j'ai vachement confiance en nous.
Oui.
En fait, la seule chose en fait, sur laquelle j'ai pas vraiment confiance, c'est que dès qu'il a un bobo, c'est assez dramatique. C'est juste ça. Donc, il meurt. Donc, c'est la seule... c'est un peu ça.
Could you please tell us a bit more about your project?
Our project is to circumnavigate.
I think it's a project of our life. So we'll do 2 years in the Med, then 2 years Caribbean, and then 2 years Pacific. And who knows where after that.
At first, my husband project, he had that dream since he's a little boy. He's from Brittany, so you know he's a sailor.
Pour nous, c'est d'entreprendre un voyage autour du monde.
Our project will be to sail the Mediterranean, to the Canaries, and then hopefully we're going across the Atlantic to go to the Caribbean. And then, fingers crossed, we will circumnavigate from there. But that's the big plan, but obviously we take it step by step.
Do you have a story to tell us about a sailing moment with your husband?
We sailed out on a Sunday in a storm, and people who saw us leave told us we were the only ones who left that day. And at a certain point I thought he was trying to discourage me from sailing because it was a horrible trip from La Grande Motte to Cap d'Agde. Very, very bumpy. And I got to experience seasickness for the first time.
I think the funniest story probably is that right at the very beginning, when he said to me, oh, I said, Susan, he said, do you fancy sailing? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Look, I've never done it before, but I'm quite the sort that if I don't try it, I don't know if I don't like it or if I do like it. So I said, yeah, fine. So we went to Sweden and he said, look, don't worry, every evening we will stop at a marina, there will be showers, there will be restaurants. And we got to the sailing club and the class, and every night we was on a remote island with just mosquitoes. So there was no showers or anything. So it wasn't until the end of the week when we actually had a shower. But it was a fantastic experience, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world. So it was a great introduction into sailing, a completely different way of life. So I loved it. So one of the favourite places we would sail to on the south coast is Weymouth. It's a lovely sea town, big fishing area. But when you come in, you have to moor up alongside another boat in the summer because it's so busy. And that is quite a tricky thing because you have to very quickly tie up next to the boat. So we were coming in, the two of us. Peter was on the helm. I ran around and got all the lines on. It was exhausting. Peter wanted to go ashore, so I was sitting in the cockpit panting from all the running around, and he had gone. And the boat next to us, the guy suddenly popped his head up. So he hadn't helped us at all. He'd just been hiding in his boat. He popped and he said, has Captain Bligh gone ashore? And I was like, oh, you could have helped me. Instead of which he just watched me running around with all these lines I was tying on. So that was quite funny.
Did you initiate this project with your husband?
No, he had the plan for a very long time, and we spoke about it at first, and it sounded like a good idea, and then all of a sudden one day he called me and told me I bought a boat. So that was it. But I was always very positive towards it.
I did, but I did it for my husband because I know that he is really keen on doing this thing, and I was a bit scared to do this. But now with the Gliwo, I feel much more confident. So now I decided that I'm able to take it in. And so I decided that yes, we can go. And he's very happy about it, I hope.
So I grew up in boat. It was more motorboat, and then I moved to sailing and to regatta in Mediterranean. And see, my husband has been sailing forever in Brittany. And when we met, it was both of us had the idea to do something around like that, and it was pretty clear. We even announced that for our wedding, that one day we will live for it, and it's obvious. It's not like one or the other driving it. It's like really a common choice to go it. Then the question was when.
What is your personal experience at sailing?
We've cruised a lot. So we used to have a boat in England on the south coast. This is going back 20, 30 years. And we cruised a lot in the Channel Islands, across to France. But I guess short, we'd be on the boat for 2-3 weeks at a time and very much coastal sailing, no big passages. And then we lived in Australia and we did some cruising there, but we were on the west coast and it's much more limited sailing. We've also chartered all over the world, so in the Caribbean a lot, love the Caribbean, also in New Zealand and in Greece. So quite a bit of sailing, but always in blocks of, I suppose, 2 to 3 weeks.
I mostly had very good experiences, except one when we were very young with my husband. We were on a hobbycat, and at one point we had a problem navigating, and I hit the mast and I just fell on the trampoline, completely shocked. And then my husband hit me twice just to try to wake me. And there, I was very, very mad. Fortunately, I hope this is not going to happen on this tour. No.
My sailing experience is not that big. I mean, he's from Britain, he does everything on board. I help sometimes, but in Miami we had a sailing boat. I was helping sometimes, but that's it.
So does your husband let you take the helm sometimes on board?
We have actually made a conscious decision, because this trip is different. We are doing everything as equals. So all the training we've done so far, every maneuver, everything, he's done it once, I have done it once, and I have to say, so far, I have been better.
I think so, but I have to say that right now I don't feel so comfortable to do it on my own. So if we are two, you know, I prefer him to do it.
Moi, j'ai un mari qui part du principe que je suis son égal ou presque, d'accord, et donc de toute façon, je suis censée pouvoir faire toutes les manœuvres.
Not yet, but soon I hope. Hopefully. We're working on this together, absolutely. No, we're really into a process of learning all there is to know about the boat and all the sailing process, so he can confidently let me take the helm.
And who will cook on board?
He is cooking because he learned to cook recently and he cooks very well and he thinks he needs the practice, so I'm more than happy to let him. I do the cleaning afterwards. That's my role.
It's a good question. At home, he is cooking, and I've not been cooking for 10 years. So I have to think if I will start to cook again. The objective is that I should do it, at least partially, more than at home. So I think it will be shared. And we as well put a barbecue on board, so I think it will be shared. And my little one as well wants to cook on board, so it will be a family thing, I think.
How did react your friends and family about this project?
They were not surprised because they knew how much we loved sailing and how we'd always talked about doing more. So they were like, you know, when can we come and join you? Let us know when you're in a really nice bay or a nice island, and we'll be there. So they want to book in.
Do you think sailing is made for women?
Yes, I do. I think it's not a question of if you're a man or a woman. I think when you're on a boat, you're a sailor. And you should be able to do everything that you're supposed to do without fear. As they say, fear is a liar. You convince yourself that you're scared, but in reality, I'm sure most people, I don't want to say everybody but most people can do what you have to do on a sailboat if you're not scared.